So we just recorded for 20 minutes until I realized that audio was not getting recorded. So welcome to episode 5 of Sonic Surge again. What is up? We have a very special guest with us today.
Yes.
Who are you?
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Make me feel young again because I'm in the company of two youngsters who are just 20 years old. So I am Dr. Sanjay Dhawan, father of Mr. Moksh Dhawan. And
Yes,
I
Moksha's
suggest,
dad.
yeah, Moksh's dad, yes. So Moksh is mad dad.
Yeah.
That's where he gets his madness from.
Can confirm.
I am an eye surgeon by profession, working as a CEO and Director of Medical Services of Indira Gandhi Eye Hospital and its network of hospitals based in Gurgaon and other areas. So it's
Okay.
nice to be on show of Sonic Surge, and I think we have both the Surge and the Sonic now.
We have 15 subscribers. There's nothing to be very happy about here.
There will be a surge of subscribers. I think.
Yes, sir.
This show.
Subscriber surge. Let's go. Subscribe now, guys.
But we have fun here.
Yeah.
It's actually very much good to record, like, because in general we talk like about bikes and everything, all the automotive things in your general life, like every day for hours and hours, even when we are not recording. So
Yeah.
we just decided, let's just start this.
And it
Well,
helps, man.
it's quite a boy thing that gizmos, technology, and automotives are there. And so when I was a
Yeah.
small kid, I was very fascinated by all the technological toys. And day one, the toy would arrive, I would play with it, make it run. Day two, I had to open it up.
Open it.
I would open it up, rip it apart, and then put it back. 90% of the time, I would succeed putting it back. But 10% of the time, I would not put it back. And then I would curse myself.
But it's worth it for the 90. It's worth it for the
Yes.
Yeah.
90. So,
Okay, so people who don't know, Moksha's dad is also a rider and a pretty experienced one. So share us, how did you start in the riding community and how did you start riding and how was your journey?
Well, so it is, as you say, a long time ago, in a place, not a galaxy, in galaxy, but in a place far away from where I'm sitting right now. There used to be a young boy of 13 who had a younger friend who was 6 months younger to him. So this younger friend of mine, his dad bought a Jawa motorcycle, the old classic two-stroke 250cc engine Jawa, a red color, and he took us for a joyride, took us from the school to their place, and that was fun experience for me, riding on the bike for the first time. Then my friend learned it from his dad, or maybe from his friends, and then he taught me how to ride. A couple of times he taught me, and I practiced it a little bit. Then another friend of mine taught me how to ride a scooter, a Bajaj Chetak scooter. Then I got some experience in scooter. Then in 1981, when I was at about 16, 17 or so, my father bought ESD 250 Classic, which was basically just a different avatar of Java only. Those days, this bike had an amazing sound and amazing road presence also. In fact, the sound of Java was better than the sound of Royal Enfield bikes or Bullet. The sound of this bike had a timbre to it. It had the lows and it had the highs also, and it had a sort of some ringing thing to it from the twin exhaust. And the very signature sound you could hear from far off that this bike is coming. Whereas the Royal Enfield sound always had that dug dug,
yeah.
the lows, there are no highs in it. There are no bells. There's no timber in it.
Yeah.
But that's again, it's a very nice sound. There used to be basically 3 bikes in those days: Bullet, Java or ESD, and Rajdut. Rajdut was another bike. Rajdut was 150cc bike, Java or ESD were 250cc bike, and Bullet was 350cc bike. The 3 different segments were there. And the most selling bike was Rajdut, followed by Java, followed by. So that's how the journey started. And I rode the ESD quite a bit, but the challenge was the fuel. I never had money to buy the fuel.
Still
So
a
money was
problem.
always in short supply, so there was not enough fuel then.
Yeah.
So everything had to be planned and organized. So, but it was fun. It was fun. This bike had a character, had a mind of its own. Sometimes it would just refuse to start. But what you do? Sometimes it would start and would kind of go into high revs on its own and would not stop. So we had those challenges. But we could tinker with that. We could play with the bike. We could play with the thing. I had even opened up its carburetor and all, cleaned it up, stripped it back, tuned it, badly tuned it, But so a lot of tinkering one could do. One could take liberties with the bike, which we cannot do with the present bike. Things were all retro, were all basically analog and mechanical, hardly any electronics. And what electronics were there would probably not function also. So there's
Nice.
no ABS, no traction control, everything you had to do on your own. But
Nice.
still, it was fun. It was fun.
A question that Kevin asked you when we were recording previously. What was the
Yeah.
price of fuel back then?
Okay, the fuel was, I think, about in 81, so the fuel was just about 1 rupee a liter. And that is expensive.
Wow. Wow.
The bike itself was for 8,000 rupees.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So the
See,
bike was
now I
like,
have to
like
do some
8,000.
calculations.
Yes, 8,000. Bike was 8,000 rupees. The fuel was just 1 rupee per.
It would be equal to like 80,000, 90,000 now. Like if
Yes.
we calculate the
Yeah.
inflation thing.
Yeah. So, and no, but if you were compared to equivalent bike, say ESDs would cost 2 lakhs.
Yeah, now it's like way up.
Yeah. So when you had to, it was a 2-stroke engine, so you had to mix the oil and
Oil and the
petrol
fuel.
together.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a proportion to be maintained that for every liter of fuel, about I think 10-15 cc of oil was to be put in the same tank.
Hmm. And was this done on the petrol pumps only?
Yes, yes. So when they first put the oil, and then they put the fuel, so that it gets mixed up together.
And that's your classic two-stroke thing.
Yes,
Dirt bikes also operate on the same principle.
same principle. Yes.
Yeah. Sick. Also, I checked inflation conversion calculator. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but just 1 rupee back then is the equivalent to 25 rupees now,
Huh?
not 100. So things were still cheaper. Even though money was more expensive, things were still cheaper.
Cheaper,
Damn, man.
Right,
Yeah,
but
now everything is like
but the
crazy
earnings were
high
very
price.
low. Earnings were very low.
Yeah.
Earnings were very low. That's the important thing.
Well,
That's
my earnings are still low. So
I don't know if you were to compare, if you do a kind of a direct comparison, the present value of money kind of a thing. So
yeah.
you'll find that the earnings were much lower.
The 8,000 rupee figure today would cost 1,60,000. Which is, yeah, it still makes sense. But fuel was so much cheaper. Wow. Fuel was like 1/4 of the price, man. Wow.
Maybe it was slightly more expensive than that. No, I think it's around one fuel.
That's insane,
Back in
though. That's insane.
retail became more expensive. So 88, when I finished my MBBS and I joined internship, 3 months into the internship, my dad bought me my own bike, which was a Kawasaki KB100 RTZ, which was one of the Japanese things which had come in. First Suzuki came in, then Honda, and then Kawasaki, then Yamaha, and then Kawasaki came. It was a very decent bike, technologically much more advanced, very stable. It had the indicators right. Back then, the SE did not have the indicators right.
Nice.
Just the headlight, which we had to turn on at high beam and low beam. That's it. And the key was such that one key could be used on any of the bikes. You had to actually lock the handle with a padlock.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
So we should use the padlock to lock the handle, but the key was always common between various. Very, very peculiarly shaped key was there.
Wow.
So 88, I bought my Kawasaki. That was much more advanced bike. It never gave me any trouble, and I really enjoyed it. I did some touring also on that. It's like Missouri and all. It was fun.
What was your experience with the KB100 when you had Yamaha RX100s all around you? Like, what
Okay,
was the
that's very
comparison
good.
between them?
So Yamas were always, performing better and more aggressive and were always leading. But then I did some tricks with my bike. I always went in for 93 octane fuel.
Nice.
Whereas elsewhere it was either 89 or 90 octane was there, the commonly sold. And then I replaced my air filter, the paper air filter with the sponge air. So the air intake was much better.
Okay.
Those days it wasn't very dusty, there's not so much of a pollution. So one could do that. So by changing the air filter and going for higher grade fuel, the Kawasaki actually performed better than Yamaha.
Nice.
And there would be often instances on roads. The roads were empty. There was hardly any traffic in those days. So say Yamaha would come up from behind. One could, go parallel with Yamaha. And then when the Yamaha say, okay, fine, they've reached their thing, you could open your throttle further and go further ahead.
Yamaha
That could
still do
really...
that.
No, but the
Yeah.
Kawasaki did that.
Nice. I think both of them still do that, to be fair.
Kawasaki did that with Yamaha. And then the Yamaha guys would really wonder then what happened. So what's wrong with this Kawasaki? So it was really fun.
Really, really sounds like the RM5 people.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But yeah,
I think they got the taste of their own back.
yeah.
Nice. This was
My
all.
brother-in-law had a Yamaha RX100.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that also. So your main comparisons with the RX100 were between you and him.
So we never kind of drove together or competed with each other. But I saw it.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
But Yamaha appeared to be more agile, but appeared to be less stable.
Okay.
Whereas the Kawasaki was much more stable and much more grounded, much surer footing. And I heard a lot of accidents with RX100. I think for two reasons. One was that it had that extra power to it, and also it's probably not that stable in hard braking or at high speeds. No.
Makes sense.
The high speed stability of a Kawasaki was really amazing. And the brake was very, very good.
And if you wanted a Yamaha that would be stable when you go fast, the choice would be an RD350, not an RX100.
RD350 came later,
Yeah,
and that was an insane machine.
next level.
I never had it, but my friend had it, and he had a second-hand RD350. Once I, tried his bike, and I said, "Look, what is so special? It's not as great as I've heard about it. No, He said, "You come as a pillion now. I'll tell you what it is." And then he kind of he launched it,
Yeah.
and scared the life out of me.
Of
So and
course.
I said, "Okay, fine, yes, I agree."
Yeah.
So it was actually a fabulous machine, but the problem was that it was a fuel guzzler.
Yeah.
It had a fuel efficiency of I think just about 15 to 20
Wow.
kilometers to a liter.
That's
On a
a lot.
350.
And yeah, whereas people were used to small bikes with a fuel efficiency of more than 50, so nobody would accept it in India,
Yeah.
and that's one reason why it failed. Also, we did not have the mechanics who could actually properly tune the twin engines it had. It had a parallel twin,
Okay.
and so tuning the parallel twin engines with the carburetor fuel system is not easy, because getting the timings properly synchronized or properly timed it takes expertise and experience, which was not there. That so Indian mechanics were not used to that, and that's one reason why people would not buy it and would not maintain it properly.
Just went into just enthusiast side of the market then.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Makes
People who could
sense.
afford it, who were enthusiastic and passionate about it, they are the ones who had it. But since the sales were low, I think the company withdrew it. So,
And
Sad.
what was the community like, riding community like back at that time?
so riding was not taken as a passion thing or a separate independent thing. Riding was just basically commuting. It was a commuting thing. So
Hmm.
there's no community, but we were all commuters basically.
Hmm. When
I
did
think
the whole Sunday morning ride
there
start?
have been very, very few people who would be kind of doing it for the fun sake only. Mostly it was a mode of transportation for us, but we also enjoyed it alongside.
Yeah.
The stunts and all those things came much, much later. That is the later phenomena which happened, I think, maybe somewhere in the late 90s. And those biker gangs which from late 90s, you know, early 2000. And,
Hmm.
but the proper riding culture, I think, has been there for the last 15, 20 years only.
Okay. Just long enough for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also the super bikes also came about 15, 20 years ago. It started there.
Nice.
Though there was one super bike which came long ago, I think in the 90s, but never sold. It was a BMW.
Which one?
It was a BMW, and where the normal bikes would cost, I think about 15, 20,000 or so. This bike would cost 5 lakhs.
Of back
And
then money.
it was the back then. So I've seen that bike on the road maybe once or twice.
Wow.
It's a normal BMW thing to
Yeah,
just
man.
launch out of pocket
I don't
prices
know
things.
which model was that, but it was a beautiful looking bike, a red colored bike, a beautiful looking bike. So maybe if you do Google search, you'll get to know that which bike was it.
Hmm. Even today, BMW is doing the same thing. I don't know what is their marketing strategy, but they have recently launched their electric scooter, which is like 4.5 lakh for
Which
no
has a
reason.
top speed of
Yeah.
90, 95.
But they have launched a scooter I think a few years ago, which was for 10 lakhs in India.
Yeah, that was a touring scooter.
Crazy.
Touring
Crazy.
scooter, yes. Yeah.
And then after that, as you said during the earlier recording, you stopped
So
because you
1980,
got a car.
1988 to 1996, I was on the bike, after my marriage, which was in 93. For 3 years, me and my wife were on motorbikes. And in 96, we moved on to a small car, a second-hand Maruti 800. And then I handed over my bike to my brother. He enjoyed it for some time, and then he also switched to cars. So from 96 to year 2000, it was only car. And I would never even look at any bike. We never even think about any bike. But 2020, Moksh was 17, and next year he had to go to US for his studies. and would turn 18 in US. So I knew that in US he'll not be able to learn the bike. But I personally feel that actually everybody, but boys should definitely know how to ride a bike. And nowadays even girls should.
Yeah.
So with that idea, I thought, okay, fine, let me gift him a bike. So I got his 18th birthday gift, but give it a year before, with a clear instruction that he would ride it only at night time, only under parental guidance, only in a place where I would stay and I would be there, so that he could learn it without any problems. And he followed that advice. I think
I'm
so.
a
He
good
followed it.
kid. I'm a good kid. I did follow that advice.
So he was a
But
good kid then. He still is a
in
good kid. Generally so.
in
But he
this
has a bad
story,
he has a bad influence on him. His dad is not so good.
Yo, okay, you started riding at 13. Okay, so I did good. I did very well.
Yeah. So that's how we bought Classic 350.
Mhm.
And so I had taught my father, I taught my son also. He became quite good. But when he went to US, his bike was lying over here. And just in order to maintain the bike, I would take it out for a spin once in a week or so. Then often on, I started taking it to work also. And
Mhm.
that kind of woken up the bug in me once again. So the bug which was actively suppressed and put to fast sleep, that bug just woke up strong.
Mhm.
And so it is like the pupa which was there, the caterpillar
Yeah.
which was there in the earlier days, and it became a pupa for a long time, and then it woke up as a butterfly. So
Nice.
it's a full blown bug that came out, and then I started my research on which bike to go for.
Mhm.
So I took bikes on rental, different bikes I tried for over a period of a year, and starting from my search started from Himalayan.
Mhm.
So Himalayan, KTM, then Suzuki V-Storm, Continental GT3 650, Scrambler, Scram 411,
Nice. Shout out to
Z900.
Mishu from Talk Rides for all of these motorcycles. Very,
Yes,
very
yes,
cool person and very big collection of bikes to try out. If you're in Delhi NCR, hit him up. Link will be in the description.
yes. So he's a great guy. Nishu is a great guy. Talk Rides is the only service, I think, one of the very few services in Delhi which rents out superbikes. So Z900
Yeah.
was the first superbike I tried. Then I tried Ninja 1000. And so when I was trying the bikes, I initially thought I would probably, settle down for a sedate, stable kind of a bike. Something like V-Storm 650 XT. But I realized that no, I did not enjoy it very much. I enjoyed the more aggressive bikes. I
Of
liked
course.
Z900, but liked Ninja 1000 even because it was more stable and more, you know, grounded bike compared to Z900,
Yeah.
which was a revelation for myself that I liked aggressive bikes. And then I started looking at. Then I, in fact, actually booked Ninja 1000. Ninja 1000 Access I booked for myself
Okay.
to be delivered on my 60th birthday. And somehow it so happened that 2 weeks before my birthday, the dealership told me that no, the bike cannot be delivered nearby. I said, I've been waiting for the last 2 months for this. No, how can I say that? And then I had to fight with him. I canceled the booking, took my money back, and started looking at other bikes. Uh, Tried to look at Honda. Honda did not have the bikes in on display, not available for trials also. I went to BMW, saw their GS 850, GSA 850, liked it very, very much. But it was not available off the shelf. It's like it'll take 3 months of waiting and all. But somehow one bike came and the guy promised me. And I said, okay, fine, if you can give it to me on my birthday, I'm going to take it. And but the next day he said, no, it cannot be. And then a friend of mine bought Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro. He said, "Why don't you check it out?" I went to the showroom, to the dealership, and they had a test bike. I took it for a spin, and I really loved the bike. It had all things. It ticked all the boxes for me. It was like, I really kind of liked it very much. So after the test ride, I told the showroom's the sales guy that I have already booked Ninja 1000. I can cancel that booking and I can book yours now, provided you deliver it to me on my birth, which was 1 week hence.
Nice.
And they had a long waiting list for. He said, "Give me 5 minutes. Let me call up the company." So I think he called up the company in Indian thing, and then he said, "Yes, it will be done." I said, "You send to me in writing, send me an
Yeah.
email. Only then I'll cancel the other book." He sent me an email the next morning. I canceled the booking. I booked it, and then on my 60th birthday, we took the delivery of Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro with all the essentials, accessories fitted originally from day one. And so Moksh was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fun day. Fun day. We even ran into, I forgot his name. Oh my God.
Murtaza.
Murtaza
Murtaza.
Junaid.
Junaid Murtaza.
Very cool guy.
Yeah,
He handles a lot of Triumph's off-roading schools for the
yeah.
Tiger.
He's an official trainer for them, and he's
Yeah.
also an official ambassador for them.
And really cool guy. Showed us some fun things about the bike right when Dad bought it, and that's the day I realized that with a very well balanced motorcycle, even if it weighs like 250 kilograms, how much does the Tiger weigh?
238.
238, 240 kilograms. Even with that heavy of a motorcycle, if it's well balanced, you can hold it up with your pinky like this. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah,
So,
it was a good day.
yeah. So then, of course, then I've been touring and going for solo tours or with my wife, and been really enjoying it. Surprisingly, my wife enjoyed it also. And once we were returning from a tour to Rajasthan, she said, "Okay, I've fallen in love with you all over again."
See, now that's the way to react. That's the correct way to react to a motorcycle.
Yes, because it brought back the same old
Old
feelings and
memories.
emotions which we had experienced in our youth. So, motorcycles make you young and keep you young.
And now we live in the
Definitely.
age of people complaining कि ओ बाइक पे बैठेंगे मेरा मेकअप खराब हो जाएगा मेरे बाल खराब हो जाएंगे क्यों
That
हेलमेट्स
is
पहनाते
true.
हो बार बार Yeah, no, this is the right way. Learn from my mom, audience. But fun
Even
stuff.
even my mom even my mom has been like, so my dad does not know how to drive a car at all. And so for the past 30 years, my mom has been, has been a pillion for 30 years on a two-wheeler. Even my pillion, even my sister's pillion, and my dad's pillion also. And it has been
The
amazing.
constant grouses, the hair gets spoiled.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't think anybody can make that excuse. This is proof. No one can make that excuse. बाल नहीं होते खराब.
That's not an excuse. Yeah. Who cares about hair? We care
I
about the wind in the hair.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Brush your hair later, man. Don't be lazy.
Feel the wind in the hair, not the hair. So that's how it. So, so
But
then,
and then how did you plan on buying the Busa?
Yeah.
there's no plan, and I was all the time I was kind of never looking at sports bike. I would say sports bikes are not for me. I need an upright bike, and this is the last thing that I have bought in my life. No, nothing after this. Uh, but somehow the fascination for Hayabusa started, and it kind of slowly grew. inside me. And I never sat on the bike, I never tried the bike, and had seen the bike very few times also. So I was kind of reading about it on their website, looking at all the reviews and everything. So then I thought, okay, let me see if I can look at it. Then a friend of mine bought it. So I once just sat on his bike and off the side stand, made it upright to see that what is its sitting position and how much of a leaning forward is involved. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Because I would never want to kind of lean to forward and crouch on the bike. I would not want that in that sort of a riding position.
Yamaha
This had a very,
R15.
yeah, this had a very sort of a neutral,
It is,
not
yeah, it is
upright.
better than the Ninjas
Yeah.
and
Yes, so it's not upright. It's not totally committed. It's fairly balanced that way, and not very tall. So even though it's heavy, it feels very stable when you take it off the stand. So I like the thing. And then the 25th anniversary edition was launched in India. That again, that triggered the spark. And so I have some friends from Japan. So I was just talking about that. This bike is there, but it's a very long waiting period. They said, okay, fine, maybe let us see if I can help you with that part. So they helped a little bit. So the long waiting period was cut short to some extent. And that was again a tipping point for me. Okay, fine. So if I'm getting it early and getting the 25th anniversary edition, why not
Go all out.
I went all out for it. Also with the idea that in case I don't want to use it later on, this bike has got a lot of cult following and a good resale value. It can always be sold out in the market, and one would not lose too much money.
one
That's
buyer
not
is
happening. That's not happening.
Of course not.
So with that idea, I went ahead with it. And the first time I tried this bike was my own when I bought it on the take it out from the showroom, and it's lived up to its name and reputation.
It still is continuing to get to the point where you can say it's lived up. I don't think it's lived up to its potential quite yet.
No, I said name and reputation. I
Yeah.
did not say potential.
Okay.
I have to live up to its potential.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I will be able to live up to its potential.
Very few can.
Its potential has been also, curtailed by the company in the gentleman's agreement. So,
yeah.
Reflash your ECU, put a turbocharger on it, put a free flow exhaust, put a performance air filter. There is no limit. There is no limit.
how do I reflash this ECU?
हाँ वो लिमिट है वो लिमिट हमेशा रहेगा
How to reflash this ECU to match up with the existing ECU of the bike, and then think of
Yeah. That's cool though. I have a question. I have a question for you. So you have experience with all the way from single cylinder two stroke to four cylinder four stroke and everything
Yeah.
in between. Like you've tried singles, you've tried twins, you've tried
Twins.
you've
I have
had
a
done
triple.
you've done a daily drive for a triple, and now you're daily driving an inline four. So, what are the pros and cons that you faced with each engine format?
Yeah, all fantastic. I have fun on all of them.
मजा आया इतना पता है
Yeah, so I had fun on all of them. And, see, the single cylinder two stroke, there's a burst of power, and it had a different feel altogether. So, see, it was not probably the engine was not the limiting factor. There's the whole package which can become the limiting factor.
Yeah.
So it was older technology, older things. So not very well tuned. So the bike would be so the SD was not very smooth at high speed, and so one would be really scared to take it to very very high speeds. And then the Kawasaki was very smooth at high speed, so I could actually fully open the throttle and take it to its limit, beyond which it would not go. I think it went up to about 110, 120, never beyond that. Then uh, the two strokes which I tried, the GT 350 was a good bike. I was really liked it.
Twin cylinders,
Twin cylinder, yes.
not two-stroke. You call it the
Sorry, yes, sorry,
GT650.
sorry. Yeah,
If
GT
we had a 650cc two-stroke, I would lose my shit. I would sell everything.
I meant the twin cylinder. They have a 650 single cylinder BSA, which is
Yeah, that's also pretty fun.
yeah. So the two stroke, and then I tried two stroke V-Storm 650 XT. That was very docile bike. So V-Storm 650 was very very docile bike, not very aggressive, very stable, very sensible, a gentleman kind of a bike, but not very inspiring or anything. GT 650 was definitely, more fun.
Yeah.
And then the four cylinders, the triple, has got its own character. It has the grunt, it has the power, it has the stability also. And just at some speeds, it gives you some harshness, but once you cross that level, it becomes smooth again. That is typically so with almost every machine, that at some frequencies where it resonates, where the frequency of the engine and the natural frequency of the chassis resonates, there the vibrations get amplified.
Yeah.
But the moment you go push it beyond that level of RPM,
Smooth.
again they become smoother. So, but in the inline four, again the Z900 also had some vibration at some level, but it felt somewhat, I would say, I said it feels like a teenager.
Yeah.
Z900 had a teenage feel, whereas Ninja 1000 had a more mature feel. And so Ninja 1000 was more, I found it more stable, more grounded. It would grip the ground better. So more confidence inspiring. Whereas the Z900 was not, it felt somewhat detached from the
A
road.
bit of a hooligan also, that bike.
Well, it has the
It is.
reputation also of being
Yeah.
the widowmaker
Yeah.
of the past. Then, of course, the Hayabusa, which is again inline four, very smooth, very refined. It's a very
Yeah.
refined, power, very refined bass. So far, I have not been able to go to the level where I could feel the vibration. Maybe there may be some narrow part in the whole spectrum that there may be some vibration, but I have not reached that level like that. We're
Nice.
still in the running in period. I've not done 800 kilometers so far. I'm still stuck below 5,500 RPM. And after 800, I'll cross over to, I can go up to 8,000 RPM, and then there, after 1,600 kilometers, I can go to the level it takes me to.
Of course. Nice. I wanted to ask you one thing about triples. So you tried the street triple as well, right? The
I tried
the
triple
765.
also. Yes, yeah, recently.
How does that engine compare to the Tiger 900 engine?
That felt more smooth and refined.
Okay,
And also the bike is tuned differently.
of course.
But it feels more like it feels like a typical street bike.
Mm.
It feels light and small and a peppy machine, but smooth and quite stable. But typically feels light and small. Whereas Tiger actually feels big and solid and very stable.
Nice.
So a word about braking in, I've always, like all the vehicles that I bought, I have been very, very careful about the running in period or the braking in of the machine. And as a result of which, I think all the machines have given us very good service.
Yeah. And that has transferred generations as well. Thanks to you teaching me how to ride motorcycles and drive cars. I kind of grew up with that running in Walla mentality as a standard because I saw how well our really, really old vehicles were performing. And I was like, yeah, I want my vehicles to perform this well for as long as possible. So yeah, I didn't touch
Any
my
mechanical.
rev limiter on my motorcycle until I it hit like 3,500 kilometers.
So every machine, every mechanical device has got this running in or breaking in ways.
I am complete opposite of this. The first bike I bought was a TVS Sport. It's like a commuter bike. First day got it, max speeded. Now
But I think
the current
nowadays
bike,
the newer bikes they're putting this sort of I think limiter also.
yeah,
They
they
limit
have
the
limiter.
they limit the revs and limit the speed also before the first service. So
Yeah. So my current bike, the Honda CB200X, has a limiter on it, so it doesn't go above I think 9,000 RPM or 8,000 RPM. Uh, and it basically just stops after 129 top speed. It just shuts down back. And because it has a limiter and I was still pushing that bike, within 6 months, I broke its clutch plate
yeah.
because I was riding with like 1000 cc bikes at that time and constantly going top speed.
So also there's a reason why the concept of breaking in is there.
Yeah.
Actually, the all the parts, all the moving parts, they fall in place and they gel well with each other if you
Mm.
you know break in properly. Because the
Yeah.
surface is not as from the factory. Surface is not as finely finished. So that fine finishing happens when the machine is actually used.
Yeah.
And to achieve that fine finishing and for all the parts to really properly fall into each other, uh, proper breaking in, running in is required.
And if you ride really hard right out of the showroom without running in, you'll find that when you do your first oil change, there are going to be metal shavings in your engine oil to
Yeah,
show you
yeah.
that don't do that, bro. Don't do that to yourself and to your bike, please. But
So you actually
yeah,
break away larger particles
yeah,
by that.
Mm.
So it affects
But
the long-term performance and the life
yeah,
of the machine.
yes,
and that is the exact reason which I haven't done those things with my bikes right now because I don't plan on riding my current bikes for a long time period. I've only bought my bikes and have sold them within 1 year. Because
Mhm.
first bike I just got a commuter just to learn how to ride and to get a license. Then I got a Pulsar RS, like 6 year old Pulsar RS, like second hand.
Mhm.
It broke down after 6 months.
And there's another advantage to breaking in your own bike. That advantage is that when you are doing that initial breaking in or running in thing carefully, your reflexes and your coordination with the bike becomes better, and you understand your machine much better. You and your machine become
Mm.
one single unit
yeah.
at a very
Mm.
reflex level. So that is also helpful. So your coordination actually improves, your machine handling improves because each machine behaves different.
Yeah, that has happened with me after I've got my Honda and my brother's R5, which I've been, I juggle between those two
Yeah.
constantly. And I've had now my bike for like 2.5 years now, and I just had one thing, which was after the 6 months clutch plate broke. After that, it has been completely fine, and I have gotten way better. Moksh knows it also.
Yeah. More responsible, at least.
So when I said that tuning this ECU, this tuning of this ECU also happens in you when you're running it.
Yeah.
So it really helps you
Just
and
to
the
get to know the
machine becoming
machine.
one single unit.
Yeah.
And your crashes also help in that. In that tuning.
Yes, very much so. But hopefully the crashes won't be too bad. But when your bike
Yeah.
falls, learn from it. Don't just be like, oh, hum gir gaye. But whenever you fall, you should learn from it. And definitely, if you go off-roading, this is an experience that I had. I dropped their Himalayan twice and I dropped it in dirt each time, so no damage to the bikes or anything. But understanding exactly why the bike fell and what I need to do to avoid that makes me a lot more careful on my bike when I take it off road. So
We
yeah,
all drop bikes, that always happens.
that
The
is
first time it drops,
universal.
the first time it drops, even if it does not hurt your body, it just hurts your heart. A big deal.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
and so it happened with me that I dropped my Tiger. I felt very very bad first time, and nothing happened to the bike. Nothing happened to me. Second time it fell, I uh, my foot got trapped under uh, the exhaust thing. Fortunately, I was wearing good protective shoes, so I did not break any bones. I did not break my foot. But even then, the compression of my foot was very bad, and I was in bad pain for quite some time. I thought that I have broken something, but fortunately, I had not broken, and my foot got saved. But that led
I,
to a decrease in the confidence for
mm,
quite some time. It took me some time to regain the confidence of riding that bike fearlessly again. So one should avoid. Again, if you were running in properly, then going slow in the beginning, it avoids those kind of setbacks and accidents.
Yeah,
So falls do happen, dropping do happen, crashes should not happen.
yeah,
I've had one crash long time back on my Kawasaki in my younger days, and uh, that happened. I was at the red light; it turned green. I started. There's a pedestrian crossing the road, and a villager who was crossing the road after the light had turned red for the green for the traffic,
of
and then
course.
he got confused. He
And
went
then he
back.
stopped.
He stopped. He went back and came back forward again. So, which is what led to the crash. And
Of
I
course.
somersaulted twice, and then fell. Bike fell. The fellow also got hurt, and it took me some time to get back to my normal self. Then I took him to the
mm.
hospital. You know, got him treated over there. The minor injuries were there. I also had a very minor thing, nothing much, nothing major. And the bike headlight and all the things they broke, but that was again secondary. Uh, but the whole thing was mentally traumatic. So when I look back, I feel that ideally it should not have happened. The fellow should not have
Mm.
crossed the road. If he was
Of
crossing the
course.
road, he should not have been in double mind to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So, but it happened. So any crash, any such mishap, it leaves a bad taste, even if you are not hurt.
Man, these pedestrians that don't know what they want to do are the scariest thing on any road. Not just pedestrians at this point, it's everyone
A
on
lot,
the
a
on the
lot of
road.
people. Yeah.
It's the two-wheelers, it's the four-wheelers, it's the pedestrians.
The
People
three
just
wheelers also.
three-wheelers more than anyone, the three-wheelers, oh my God. Nobody seems to know where they want to go. They're just like, हम यहाँ घुस जाएंगे, ठीक है. We will continue, we'll follow this line as long as we can until there's a motorcyclist next to us, हम फिर ऐसे ले लेंगे. Just for audio listeners, motorcycle के सामने. It's
So
it's
I'd say
annoying, man.
that in India, a big part of learning how to ride or drive is also to understanding the other driver's behavior,
Yeah.
to be able to estimate their intent.
To predict the
And
unpredictable.
actually, yes, and you can actually if you look at the vehicles and their movement and all, you can predict. You
Yeah.
will know, okay, fine. Some people are stable, you know, if they will follow their line. And there are others who know they are unpredictable. They may not follow their line. So you have to learn these things, and this thing comes with the time, with experience. No?
Yeah.
So learning that part is very, very important in India, and also things which suddenly pop up from everywhere, which can be living things, which can be non-living things, can be human, can be superhumans also, and they can come in from any side.
Very often there are
So
people driving the wrong way along a blind curve. That happens a lot,
so
and it's not funny.
so a lot happens, you know. So here it's not just knowing how to ride or drive your machine or the road signs or the road signals, but it's also a lot to do with the, you know, trying to save yourself from the unpredictable creatures on the road,
The mess.
and of course the mess and the chaos.
Yeah, and also like you also have to know the roads also pretty well
Yeah.
because the roads are not in the best conditions all the time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Especially for you guys on your sport bikes and all. That
Yeah,
will one pothole and it's all over if you're really pushing.
yeah. There was one guy who lost his life, I think last year. A very enthusiastic, very passionate biker. I think he had a collection of almost 100 bikes.
Oof.
He was returning from Jaipur. And that return road from Jaipur at that point of time, I don't know how it is right now, but had very bad potholes. He
It's
was on
still
a
pretty bad.
he was on a super bike and he hit a pothole, and despite being experienced biker,
Yeah.
could not save himself.
Rest in peace, man.
And of course, as Moksh said, that people driving on the wrong side. Recently, there was an incident where an SUV was coming on the wrong side on a Sunday morning on a smooth road where nobody would ever expect anybody to coming wrong way in the
yeah,
fast lane. And the biker, of course, was taking the curve, narrow, tight curve. He could not spot, and I think by the time he spotted, it was too late. He could not have steered away, could not have braked. There was head-on collision. The biker died on the spot. These things are completely avoidable. These
Yeah.
kind of life losses are completely avoidable. And the if anybody from the Indian law enforcement people will listen to it, I think they should come very heavily on those people. If people who are listen to it, you know, people should not, you should not do that.
And
yeah,
save
And life
yourself
can be, life
as
can
well.
be lost, in very, very easily. You cannot
Exactly.
save life that easily. You cannot give life that easily. I'm a doctor, and I know that what it means. No? That saving a life, saving a dying person is sometimes, most of the time it is actually impossible. So don't ever put yourself in a situation where you are responsible for somebody's loss of life.
Yeah.
And for all the bikers, whether you're passionate, non-passionate, whether you've got an X bike or Y bike, please always wear a protective gear, especially the helmet. Helmet
yeah,
at all times. Even if you have to ride, say, 10 meters, please wear your helmet. Because head injury is something which is beyond the control of doctors and researchers. If there's a head injury, it becomes totally unpredictable, totally goes beyond our control. And when they talk of fatalities happening with motorbike accidents, most fatalities of two-wheeler accident are because of
Head
either
injury.
not wearing a helmet or not tying a helmet or having a helmet which is not even helmet for the namesake also.
ISI.
So yeah, so that's the thing. So helmets are, and even if say you okay, even they may not be in fatality, but you will be left behind with such severe damage to the brain or to the nerves that you may not be able to overcome that for the rest of your life. I
mm,
have seen a lot of such instances. And, people have lost their lives, either by dying or by staying alive. Also, they've lost their lives,
Exactly.
which is worse. So helmets are an absolute must, and of course, for passionate bikers, for people who want to go into, not the commuter bikes, but into bigger bikes, protecting your feet, protecting your hands is as important as protecting your head. So all the extremities, feet, hand, head, you have to protect. And then of course comes to protection of the legs and the shin and the knee and also the chest. So most important gear
And
is
back.
the
Chest and back.
riding boots, the gloves, and the helmet.
Yeah.
Next to that is the riding trousers and the riding jacket. You can go a little easy on trousers and jacket, but you should not go easy on boots, gloves, and the helmet, especially the helmet.
Yeah.
And should always be full face helmet.
Yeah.
Modular helmets, even though they
Still have them in Berlin.
yeah, they can be good quality and good make, but they're still a compromised design.
Yeah. Shumi from Motor Inc. and Power Drift once said on a podcast, your best case scenario if you get in a crash without a helmet is you die.
Yeah.
That's your best case scenario. Your worst case scenario is you turn into a vegetable and everyone else in your family and friends and people that care about you have to take care of you when you're in that state. So
I have
no
seen
helmet, not an option.
I've seen devastated families myself. I've seen devastated families myself where the woman carried on with the husband for say a few years, but beyond a certain point, she could not carry on. So she had to divorce him, leaving him to his parents who had to take care of him, and she had to move on with her life. So these are real life scenarios. They're real life cases. They're not imaginary things. These things have happened to people.
Yeah.
So he's right when he said the best case scenario that is without the helmet. So very true.
On
And
another
that guy talks a lot of sense.
On another note,
That guy talks a lot of sense, by the way.
that guy does talk a lot of sense. But let's move on to some lighter topics.
Also.
Let's move on to lighter topics.
Yes.
Speaking of motoring, a lot of the things that I have learned from motoring, power drift, and all of these podcasts that we have now, and these modern Indian automotive journalism.
Yes. Yeah.
So, for when you were getting into motorcycles, what was the equivalent to that for you? Like, what was your main source of learning stuff about new bikes that are coming out?
The owner's manual,
Okay.
which form it came in. That was the only source of information.
Okay.
And the rest was all experience.
Okay.
Which we just throw away now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the owner's manual is important. One should read that. And the older owner's manual were more detailed also. They would actually guide you how to open up the carburetor, how to open up various things, how to put things back and out also. So
Now
now
I
they have
saw a
different manuals they have. They have now they've got the owner's manual, they've got the technical manuals which are there, and then there are electrical manuals which are there.
Yeah.
So you need to go into buy different stuff, and those are not available easily. What you get is only the owner's manual.
I recently saw a video of a guy who owned a Ducati, and basically he was in US. So he was trying to, do maintenance of his bike on his own. And basically what the owner's manual said was, if you are having troubles with this, go to the dealership. That's what the manual said. And he's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
The
There's
useless
nothing written.
manual, dude.
Yeah. So actually, the machines become more complicated and they require more advanced equipment to be able to diagnose things and fix them also. So all the advancements are not always good. There are some drawbacks also to that. But I would say that all the podcasts and all these advice on the internet, be very, very careful in the source, because most of the sources are not unbiased or uninfluenced sources. So the influences are also influenced themselves.
Yes,
and you can all understand by what, no?
of
Because
course.
they also need fuel to work function.
Paisa.
Yeah. So whoever fuels them or oils them can actually steer them.
Yeah,
So be very careful in that knowledge. I think owner's manual is more reliable. That's one. And if you really want to go into the depth of something, there are a lot of books these days, which we never had access to earlier in olden days. So there are a lot of good books which are there. And people who write those books, most people who are pretty professional, and they would not, what they write in the book is not is more objective, is more scientific, it's more authentic knowledge. So by the time it comes to the books, the knowledge is pretty authentic because they do not want to ruin the future of their own book. That's why they have
of
to be
course.
careful.
Yeah.
And they are also authority in their subject. So I have a good collection of books which I've read many of them. There's still some left to be read. So reading the books is a good source. And fortunately, there are books on which go into the depth of the technical details also.
You said one thing. Not all advancements are all good. They have their
Yeah.
drawbacks. Which
Yes.
brings me into a topic that I wanted to discuss today. And I
Mhm.
don't want to end the discussion without discussing this thing.
Yeah.
Royal Enfield is making an EV.
Yeah.
uh, we all have our own particular views on EVs. I don't think any of us dislike EVs.
Mhm.
I think we all have like a degree
I
to which
own,
we
I've owned,
yeah,
I've owned
you've
two.
owned two. Both me and dad have ridden some. I don't think we haven't owned any EVs.
No, no.
Okay. So, from what I gather in the current layout of the car world, people that are moving to EVs are trying to transition from internal combustion engines to EVs. And
Yeah.
in the bike world, the people that are making EVs are the companies that are ground up starting with EVs. Other than, of course, a couple of
No, not
manufacturers
all,
here and,
not
here
all.
and
There will be
there.
some ground up also there, but
Yeah, we have
yeah.
things like Livewire from Harley, and we have BMW's electric ventures
Yeah.
with your BMW electric scooters and whatnot. So there
We
are a
have
few
TVS, we have Chetak.
TVS, Bajaj with the Chetak. There's also Hero with their electric lineup of scooters now.
Vida, I
Hero
think.
is
Vida.
completely like a Hero. Electric started as its own.
Yeah, okay,
It was one of the first like big companies in India to start electric
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
vehicles.
makes sense.
Other than that, at that time, only Chinese companies were there, which still exist.
So,
So see, most of these companies are going into electric. They are also, I think, they think the same way as we think. They're not sure that what will be the future of electric. They don't want to lose out also on the electric wave, and they do not want to be the last one to enter it. They want to, keep pace with the changes while still being cautious and watchful about how it will shape up. So they're coming, all of them coming with maybe one bike or one offering in the EV segment and all. And slowly they're seeing the market response, so slowly seeing how things are shaping up and then going fully into it.
I just don't
And
want to see internal combustion engines getting fully phased out. Because now, if you have, in my eyes, Royal Enfield is one of those companies that is so retro in its entire philosophy that it's one of those last bastions of old school internal combustion technology.
right,
Now,
right.
if I see Royal Enfield making an EV,
Yeah.
my heart goes into a यार ये खत्म ना हो रहा हो because already Royal Enfield is going a little modern with the Sherpa 450 and as well as their newer stuff that they haven't yet put out, but overall they're going into a more modern approach with their motorcycles.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you think that there is a future where we have both ICE and EV side by side, or do you think one of them is going to end up winning over the other?
It's difficult to predict, but if you go back into the history, at one point of time, the steam engine was a very common, and all the trains were steam engine trains. One could not predict that steam engines will go out of, will kind of stop existing.
Yeah.
Diesel engine came, and there was very few diesel engines, but mostly it was steam engine. And much later, the electric engine came also. So the electric is not electric in a train. It's a electric supplies over there, but it's still, I think, there's a diesel engine at the heart of it. No, I don't really know that part. But nobody could foresee or imagine the steam engine going out of existence.
And now it's completely obsolete.
It's completely obsolete because of the fossil fuel thing. So similarly, internal combustion engine, we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. And that's the reason why all the companies are joining the race. They are not yet giving up their ICE. They're sticking on to that. So there's nothing like right now. Nobody can say with surety that which way the things will, because the electric part is also has got its own drawbacks.
Yeah.
And we are moving towards electric to be eco-friendly. But the process of manufacturing of the batteries and the disposal of the battery itself is not very eco-friendly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but again, on the other hand, the fossil fuel is getting depleted, and there's often a crisis of, whenever anything goes wrong internationally, the fuel prices go up, the oil prices go up. Those issues are there. And so electricity generated from nuclear plants, electricity generated from the solar cells, or the wind power. I think that is the source of maybe unlimited supply of energy, and so it's likely that electric engines may be the future, because electricity has changed the whole world scenario. Everything has become electric or electronic now.
Yeah.
So if you look at this past trend, so it's quite likely that it may become all electric. Also, the second thing is, in terms of performance, electric motor is not bad. Actually, electric motor is performing at par, even better than the ICE motors. So if on the performance front it was lacking, so I would say take the example of audio. There's a digital audio and there's an analog audio.
Yeah.
The digital audio is still not at par with analog audio.
Yeah.
That's why the vinyl still exists. The tube amps still exist, and they're still followers of that, and the companies who continue to manufacture that. But in case of electric motor, I think electric motor is performing better. Though at the present moment it's very, very expensive, but as the economy of scale kicks in, the prices will drop, and the motors will maybe become even more efficient and more powerful also. The batteries may become more efficient, more powerful, and lasting longer. And the infrastructure to support this may become better also. Then I think then it's only a matter of time that the transition will happen.
That's
And which actually Ola is actually claiming to be doing that next year. Like they are planning to put out a bike like at a price tag of 2 lakh, which is a direct competition to ultraviolet.
Yeah.
So if you see that now there is, I think in MotoGP also there's one electric segment which is coming.
Yeah, Moto E. Yeah. It already exists.
It exists, So that I think that's an indicator in itself, in which direction we are heading to.
In the world of Formula One, there's something very interesting happening. So there is a electric, current Formula One powertrain is hybrid, which is A1. I love hybrid powertrains. There is an electric Formula as well, Formula E. But now in the upcoming regulation cycles of F1, they're working on a new type of fuel which is not synthetic. It is natural fuel but is synthesized. So building the hydrocarbon structures of petroleum, but by breaking up water and putting carbon molecules in there, carbon atoms in there, and building those structures. So
So they're
that
making
is
fuel out of water.
they're making fuel out of water basically,
So
and
hydrogen cell is another
uh,
direction where people are trying out.
hydrogen fuel cell is another one, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is separate. This is not using water
Okay.
as fuel. This is synthesizing petrol out of water.
It has actually been done earlier also. Like there were like very early times ago. They have seen a video of this that you actually can do this with water, and there was cars which used to run on water, which
Yeah,
used to do similar thing, but the only problem with them was that their efficiency was very bad. That's
exactly.
why the idea was dropped.
So, with what the current ongoing research is to increase the efficiency because when you're in the world of racing, you need to eke out as much performance from every last drop of fuel, right?
But the electric motor is efficient.
Electric motor is very efficient.
Yeah.
Is efficient, and there's the possibility of improving it further.
Yes.
And electric motors have been in existence for a long time, and they have been performing very well.
Yeah.
So I think our knowledge of expertise in electric motor is way advanced now, advanced enough for us to be able to replace the IC with that.
Fun fact, electric vehicles are older than internal combustion engines. The one of the first prototypes for a car that was ever created was built with an electric motor
Electric, yeah.
instead of an ICE.
Okay.
So that's yeah, it's kind of been peeking or out of the
Also,
corner from the
also the
beginning.
earlier cars were steam engine cars. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steam engine cars now. So
So yeah, I guess change is the only constant when it comes to technology. I just hope that it changes towards. I want to see us have hybrid motorcycles because with how much I like hybrid powertrains,
Well, there is one example,
yeah,
not with the electric, but CNG and petrol, which Bajaj has made. So I think
yes,
with an electric, it is also would be possible.
it would be really cool to
but
see.
again, the hybrid also is not actually hybrid. Hybrid is also electric motor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's how it is now. So it's the electric motor which is running the thing. The
Yeah,
power
but
delivery
it's
happens from
basically
the
you,
electric
you
motor.
don't charge it, basically.
You don't
But
charge.
that's the thing.
You don't
Yeah.
charge. Yeah.
if you look at I believe it's the C8 Corvette from Chevrolet. They have employed a hybrid powertrain into a sports car really smoothly and really well. Where I believe if you're in crawl mode, it starts off in pure EV mode. And then while this is also what's currently used in Le Mans in endurance racing. So they start off completely electric. You reach a certain speed threshold, engine kicks on, and then there are different modes where you can put different amount of load on your internal combustion engine and on your electric motor. Both of them work in tandem where you have something like maybe 400 horsepower being generated by your ICE and then another 300 horsepower being generated by your electric motor, which gives you an overall 700 horsepower powertrain. But most of the torque is available instantaneously because you have the electric motor, and the peak power is crazy because of the ICE. That's what I want bikes to turn into. But I think I'm just living a pipe dream because that stuff is heavy and that stuff is space occupying.
But never know that things it may not be hybrid. I
Fully.
think it's gonna go all electric. It will not remain hybrid. It will remain IC or will go fully electric. Hybrid it is not making much sense. They may
It's
come up
making
with
a lot of sense in
maybe
performance.
a twin motor engine, or maybe triple motor engine, an inline four motor engine,
Wow.
with electric thing.
Hmm.
So because
They
yes,
already are making like something similar to that, like at least twin motors,
yeah.
I think, which they
It
are
makes sense
working
to
on.
see the speed and power limitation may come in on a small motor
Yeah.
or a given size of motor. So the only way to increase that would be to use the larger motor, which may be if not practically feasible, or using two small motors of equal size.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right now we have stuff where we have tri-motor things that are out now, where we have one motor that's driving the front axle and individual motors for both of the rear wheels in some electric
In the
cars.
cars,
Yeah,
of course. So I mean, I'm talking about bikes also. It may come up that they may be having more than one motor.
that would be cool to see.
It may not be two into two,
Yeah.
but
But there are electric bikes which also have gears in it, like gear levers and clutch things. I don't know exactly how it works, but they exist.
That would be
So the
fun to
innovation
see.
is being made,
yeah,
but it's not in India, obviously.
yeah. So see, without the gears, with the motor speed gets controlled,
Yeah,
and then the gearing down ratio is a constant ratio, which is there. And I think there's only you can increase or vary the speed of the motor to a limited extent. But if you have a motor which is always high revving motor, and then you have to kind of gear it down, and then you will need different gears.
but I am not really against electrics at all. Because like, and I think right now a lot of people in India are buying electrics not for the, saving the environment thing, but to save their money,
Money, yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
And what I think is both will exist together according to our country's conditions. Because
for a lot
charge,
of for some time to come in, yes.
yeah,
It's not.
charging thing is the big thing. I think that is the biggest thing in our country, the charging stations.
Yeah, yeah, it's changing very fast, and also the batteries are improving. Also, the range is improving.
Yeah,
So both is it's happening. So things will
Batteries are
change,
getting cheaper
but for
and lighter and smaller
yeah,
also.
yeah, for a long time, both will coexist. Which one will last? We can't really say. Though
yeah.
We can
the
hope for the best.
indications are that maybe all electric in future.
And our generation is basically the last ones, according to a lot of people, that we are the last ones to have actual engines.
Yeah.
No, you always have vintage bikes.
Bro, there will come a time where the bikes that we're riding right now will be seen as vintage.
Vintage.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Modern ICE motorcycles will have that vintage value of, oh my God, you guys used to put fuel in your vehicles? You guys used to light that fuel on fire in the engine? Oh my God, you used to have 1,000 explosions a second just to keep an engine running? We just press on switch.
Yeah.
That's the future, man. We're gonna have people calling us old, and we'll be like, back in my day, we had engines.
No, we don't even depress the on switch.
Yeah.
We just tell hey Siri,
Hey Siri, start my
switch it
bike.
on.
My phone was actually trying to start a bike that I don't have. I don't have an electric motorcycle. I don't know what my phone was trying.
Okay. So, I don't know how to do this outro. We we were, looking very much forward to, especially me, because this is the first time I'm talking to you uh, properly, and we were very, very interested in knowing your side of things and how you feel about it, because you are a big inspiration for both of us, to be honest. And we look up to you
Thank you so much.
as,
Thank you.
our future, how we want to be as writers. And this has been great, and we have learned a lot, and our few viewers would have also learned a lot from you.
Whatever 5, 10 viewers we have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them are from our writing groups only.
Yeah.
But it's great. We will have you in the future again, hopefully, and hopefully we get to ride together also someday.
Very
Looking,
soon.
looking,
When I'm
looking
back.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I just
Yeah.
gotta say, I have these conversations with Dad like every weekend, and Kevin, I have these conversations with you at least 2, 3 times a week as well. So I'm glad I could have this conversation with both of you at the same time. That was fun.
Yes.
It's nice to introduce a slightly squiddy sport person and slightly more mature sport bike rider to each other. I cannot wait till I see both of you all riding in the same group. It's
Yes,
long, long overdue.
definitely.
Great.
Sure,
And at that time, I might have a different vibe.
let's go.
Just saying.
Okay, so
Okay.
Dad, do you have anything you want to say to the 5, 10 people before we stop?
So of course, I think the four wheelers, they're actually, you know, they are safer, they are more comfortable, and they give provide you that comfort zone, uh, and take you from point A to point B. They're also enjoyable, but the real thrill and the fun is on two wheels. However, it also brings in a lot of responsibility that you must be very, very careful, take all safety precautions, wear all the gear all the time, and enjoy, be safe. I think everybody should ride. And even if you have a car, but you should have it alongside a two-wheeler also. It's a different feeling altogether. So go for it, but take all safety precautions. Have fun, stay young. That's what I should say.
Right, awesome. So
Amazing.
that is
Yes.
it for episode 5. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it all the way here, please go check out our other socials as well. I've got my YouTube channel. Kevin's got his YouTube channel. And Dad, where can the people find you?
Well, maybe Instagram should be a good option.
Both of my dad's Instagram profiles will be linked in the description, along with mine and Kevin's Instagram and YouTube profiles. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for making it this far. Subscribe for Pyaz Ka Parantha.
Okay, you are already.
Thank you so much for having me here, and bye bye. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe.
Bye.